Good morning. Yes, it's good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Blossoming Lotus. So, how y'all doing? Hopefully, you're role playing. Hopefully, you're keeping up with the card of the day, the evening reflections, and I believe that's all at the moment. But today, I was really just sitting here flipping cards, and the message that came up is honestly not one that I've seen before. It's uncommon, however, it is near and dear to my heart. So, this one is for my kings. The card that came up was Suffering in Silence in Reverse. So this is Suffering in Silence. It came up in reverse because this is what we are no longer doing. Like, we are stepping away from suffering in silence. We are stepping away from hiding our emotions. We are stepping away from living with the mask on. This message, I mean, initially it's for everybody, but then this card came out. Father, husband, brother, son. So I was sitting here looking at it and trying to get a feel for what this was about. And so I look at the bottom of the deck. We have Moses take charge of the situation. And we also have the sun card. We have light. So one thing that I am very adamant about is relationships, is love, Black love specifically, because I'm aware that in our culture, we just be toxic. We be going into these relationships knowing good and well they're not for us, knowing, and this is really on both ends, women and men. Like, it's like everybody's settling. Okay, not everybody. Most of us are settling. Most of us are unaware that we could take charge of the situation. Or, like this morning's card, we can create the life that we desire. And so many of us just, we're just not grasping. We're not walking or standing in our light. We're not following our destiny. And doing all this, we'll have spiritual strength. We need to face these obstacles. Like, I could just keep pulling and use our intuition. We've had this card today. Stand up for who you are. And then you'll just have fast movement. Like, anyways, I really I'm just the type of person, I just want to love everybody, right? And a lot of times, like, even, so I guess we're going to have some story time. I love it. So, like, coming up, junior high, high school, like, I just never really had a lot of homegirls, girlfriends, but guys, it was so easy for me to connect with guys. A lot of that is because I operate a lot in my masculine energy. I'm very logical. I research. I think. I'm always, in my head. It was really hard for me to be playful, to flow like like the divine feminine energy. But being in awareness now, it's so easy. And this is because I've seen myself butcher kings. Like, I've seen myself take a man's ego and make it this big. Like, I've seen myself do that. So it is very clear for me to see just the pattern of brokenness, the pattern that many of our men are facing. And I know a lot of people ain't gonna vibe with this, and that's perfectly fine. But I mean, hey, I'm speaking love, so if you got a problem with it, check yourself, okay? But that, and I speak women, well, we get our healing all day, every day. Like, I'm always for the woman. But there needs to be women out there that are letting our men know that they are kings. Letting them know that just because the world, especially our Black men, look at this, Egyptian Blackness, especially our Black men, like, there's so much weight. There's so much that they are carrying. There's such a responsibility. There are so many chains left on our men. And some of them just need to know that it's okay to feel, especially with us standing in our authority today. Well, this week, that was the card of the week, especially with us standing in our authority. A lot of that means balance. All of that means balance. Being able to balance the masculine energy, the feminine energy. Men need to know that it's okay to feel. Men need to know that it's not a weakness. In fact, it's a strength. They need to know that their word is enough. The way that us women do, but this conversation ain't for us women, because a lot of us, especially as Black women, like, we exercise our voice a little bit too much sometimes. There are some of us, myself that was included, that have fell into codependent relationships in which we were suffering in silence, in which we were always being quiet or not saying enough, not taking charge of the situation or standing up for what we wanted. But our men, a lot of them are silent because, there's just a whole world, and I'm not even gonna say this out against them, but creating limits that makes it so much harder for them to be their creative self. A man is strong. A man is sensitive. Like, that's just emotions for everybody. Like, it's not a weakness to cry. It's not a weakness to feel. It's not a weakness to feel like, to have a bad day. Like, a lot of us feel like we just can't have a bad day. A lot of us women don't allow our men to have bad days. Like, you don't know the shit he went through at work today. You don't know the attacks that he had to deal with today. A lot of that is just because you're not asking. Why aren't you asking? Because nobody's asking you? Okay, well, say how you feel. We wait on permission, not only to love, but we wait on permission to give love. Like, and that's one thing that a lot of our men may not feel comfortable doing. They may not even know that they need to give you permission to love you, because they look at a woman as a nurturer. They look at you as that helper that's going to initially draw some stuff out of them that they themselves don't even know how to pull out. Okay. So as a woman, as a queen, it's not our job to, and this is kind of where a lot of, divine masculine, twin flame type conversations go back and forth, because I've seen it so many times. Like, I don't want to heal another man, da 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 da. Okay, then don't. That ain't your job. But me personally, I don't mind, because that's what I'm here for. Like, I know my purpose. I know that I am a healer. So if a king comes in my space that needs some healing, that don't mean I gotta be with that person. But you're damn straight, I'm gonna offer some type of healing, whether it's just reminding them that they're a king today. And a lot of that gets taken out of context, because me being the loving person that I am, just because I'm offering your man some compliments don't mean I want him, okay? But it does mean that he's worthy of praise. He's worthy of adoration. He's worthy of acknowledgement. The same exact stuff that we as women want. So why are we holding on to all this different stuff? See, I really didn't even want to give this message. Like, I really did it. But we as women, we crave a king, but yet we're not even being queens in the same light. We are expecting more than we're giving. If you want somebody that's going to pray for you, that's going to lift you up, that's going to always acknowledge you, that's going to gift you, that's going to touch you, that's going to allow you to feel like the queen, well, honey, you got to do the same thing for the kings. You can't put everything on them. Like, like a lot of us do this. Like, I remember personally how we do with our kids. Okay, well, wait till your daddy get home. One, daddy done already been through the day. Like, daddy done had a lot to do all day. So then, and Kevin Hart said this too when he did his stand-up. Like, why can't we handle it? And this is the thing, we can't handle it. I didn't mean to say it that way. But why do we wait for permission to discipline? Why do we wait for permission to take the trash out? Why do we wait for permission? Just be active in doing it. And that's a lot of where, again, my masculine traits come in. It's like, I'm not about to wait on no man to do nothing for me, because I can do it for myself. I don't say that in a way relationally in which I don't receive, but knowing that I can do it myself when somebody wants to do it for me, that just makes it all, that just makes it more loving. Like, oh, you want to do that? Okay. Go ahead. But just knowing that I can do it for myself, because we set ourselves up to feel like, oh, I got the trash is sitting out. Take it out. Like, take it out yourself. Because guess what? If you take it out, you'll be happy that the trash is not sitting there anymore. Like, why are you waiting? Why? Men need to know that they can feel. Men need to know that they can have joy, that they can have happiness. They need to be able to explore what that looks like, because it has not been represented, especially for our Black men. I mean, you can look at TV, you can look at music, wherever. There is not always a representation of a Black man being free. What does that look like? Our men are tired of suffering in silence. And that's why this came out in reverse, because that time is over. Like, our men are rising up because they're going to be able to feel, especially during this retrograde. We are in Pisces season. Everybody about to feel, especially if you're listening to me, because that's my job. I'm going to make you feel what you're afraid to feel. I'm going to level you up spiritually so that way you can balance. You can stand on your intuition, your authority. You can know who you are. But a lot of us just don't know who we are because we haven't seen the representation. We haven't, I know I say you don't need permission, but a lot of us need to see that there are alternatives, that there are options, that there are different ways of doing things, because seeing is experiencing is knowing, and when you know, you do. So being able to see a man that flows, being able to see a man that is artistic, being able to see a man that can express himself, that allows other men to do the same thing. That allows other men to know that I know I got laid off, but I can still be somebody. I am still somebody. A man not having a job, let me be careful with these words. There's something to that, because it's not so much him not having a job. It's understanding why he isn't out there making it happen. Why is he not being the magician? Who told him that he couldn't make ends meet? Because it's not always a 9-to-5. Like, our men are creators. Like, again, this is Egyptian, ancient energy. Like, we are rulers. We are gods. We are divine. So just because he's not living the way that the world is living, what is it he wants to do? So many of us, like, we don't, and that's, again, you have to be mindful, because this is also where I fell into codependent relationships. Like, I'm going in with vision, like, what you want to do, what we about to create, where is this going, what's the purpose of our union? Because if we ain't got that, we ain't creating nothing. If we ain't creating nothing, I can't do nothing with you. You can't help me if we ain't creating. Like, there's just nothing. So in order for me to take charge as a woman, as a queen, as a goddess, the way that I take charge is I'm a planner. I'm gonna hold you accountable. But I'm also going to allow space. And as women, we don't allow our men to fail. Yet we fail all the time, and we ask for compassion. We beg, we complain when he's not understanding. Are you understanding? Did you understand that he couldn't pick up his phone? Did you understand that he needed a little bit more love and a little less talking? Did you understand? No, well, he didn't say. Your intuition, are you walking in that? Does he have to say? Like, I know I'm really coming for the females, but it's because a lot of us, we're going through this healing. We know who we are, but yet we're still treating our men as if they're supposed to know who they are. The same grace that God's giving you to come into awareness, to remember who you are, that's the same grace that we need to extend to our kings. Because if we don't, guess what? We're just reproducing kings that are afraid to walk in their light. That's not what we want. That's not how we make a comeback after 400 plus years. Like, that's not how we rise. We rise together. We rise as one. And the way we do that is by allowing grace to fall, having compassion. Some of us women need to have compassion. Like, if he left you, so the fuck what? Like, excuse my language, but so what? Clearly, he needed something different. Allow that. Let it be. Like, that's probably the best conversation I ever had in my relationships. Oh, I need some freedom. You do too? Wonderful. Let's go get it. What we need to do? Separate? Wonderful. Break up. Divorce. Okay. Peace, joy, happiness. I got it. Why? Because I took charge of the situation. I got my freedom. I released him for his freedom. And that's in every relationship. It's like we hold on to people like they're ours. One, they're not. They're not. People change. Let that be. Okay, that's wonderful. You wanted him to stay the same? You're mad because he's growing? You're mad because he decides that he needs something different? Have you ever not needed something different? Yes. So, I don't even want this to be long. So, I'm going to cut it short. I just praise a king today. Like, just honor a king, hug a king. If you got a king, kiss a king. Let him know that he's a king. Like, the men in my space, they know. They know. They will always know. Why? Because I know that I was raised by kings. I stand in the authority of a king. I dare not treat another man like less than. I wish I would crush another ego. Like, I wish that I would. Because I'm going to hurt myself. I'm blocking myself from experiencing love. I'm blocking myself from having a king. I'm going to notice every king that I see. Why? Because I want one of them. There's going to be one of them that's out there just for me. And if I can't see the ones that are all around, I'm definitely going to miss the one. So, ladies, fellas, know that you're a king. Know that you're worthy. Ladies, just give some grace. Give some grace to these men. Give some grace to that baby daddy that's getting on your nerves. Give some grace. Because we're all out here looking for the same thing. We all want love. We all want happiness. We all want success. And a lot of us just need to know that it's an option, that we are worthy of it. And love allows us to do that. Compassion allows us to do that. Following your own intuition, creating your own understanding of who you are, walking in your own light, all of that allows us to give somebody else the space to be them. I ain't worried about nobody taking my crown. So I freely give, I know I need some lotion. I freely give everybody else a space to wear their crown boldly, because somebody else walking in their light ain't gonna dim my light. And a lot of us just need to remember that. So yeah, that's today's story time. Come back for more.